Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines and, most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. Rest assured, if this is your first time tuning in, if you're listening over on YouTube, or if you're listening to the audio-only replay later on iTunes and Spotify, rest assured, everybody who is on this show is a transportation professional, all right? We've all been in the industry for a long time. There's not any wannabe thought leaders. There's not anybody who's going to appear on my content that couldn't point out what a fifth wheel was or tell you what a Jake brake was or anything like that. So again, you guys, this is brought to you by transportation professionals for transportation professionals. The whole point of this is to give you information that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day, is because not only am I living my American dream, we're also the greatest nation on earth. And I also want to help you guys live your American dream as well, with actual insight into how to navigate through any freight market out there. If you are not familiar with the platform and everything that I got built and building, I also have a twice a week long form podcast that's available. New episodes drop on Tuesdays and Fridays. And again, it's just brought to you by transportation professionals. I got a special episode. This is going to be solo today, with the holiday week. I do got one more guest locked in and everything, but we're going to, the comments are already flowing in. We are going to get some shit done today, Drew Driscoll. But before we get into any of this awesome, amazing information we're going to be breaking down, I got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. You guys, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers. And then especially for my small fleets out there, especially for my owner ops out there, you should never have to shut your operation down and lose revenue if your trailer's in the shop. And the best part about with what they're doing, you guys, you get paid to move these. All right. This is on top of the revenue that you can get by loading out most of these trailers. So with what they got right now, up in Canada, Milton, Ontario to Montreal, you get $250 Canadian for that. They also have Galt, California going to Hutchins, Texas, a dry van. You get $500 to move that one. They also have San Diego, California going to Houston, Texas. That's a reefer. You get $1,400 to move that one. And again, on top of the revenue that you can get by loading out that trailer. And then finally, they got West Valley City, Utah, going up to Calgary, Alberta. You get $1,550 US to do that. So hit them up, you guys, vhubapp.com. My friends Xavier Campos and Stacy Steen, they'll be in the audience. Just do me a favor and let them know that the Freight Coach sent you, because they help keep this neon sign on here for us. Steven, what's up, my man? Good morning to you as well. Raquel, good to see you. Good morning to you. Mr. Jolly, that sounds so formal. I love it. Happy hump day as well. Nathan Granada, what's up, brother? I owe you a response to the message you sent me yesterday, man. I'm getting to it. April Maroney, what's up? Good fucking morning to you too. Let's make it count. You are right. Every single day. Rick Wooten, good morning. Thanks for joining in. And my man, Drew Driscoll, shout out to all of my friends over at Axle Logistics out there in old Rocky Top, a.k.a. Knoxville, Tennessee. Appreciate all the support that Axle shows over there. And yeah, you guys, we got, we're at what is this, 188th Freight Coach Morning Show that we're on here. And this is also a 188th reminder that there is fundamental issues in this industry. And we talked about one of them yesterday, with it being on there of the truck parking as well as facilities issue that is in this industry. Our drivers should never have to go without showers, right? Or being able to get access to food and everything else. So again, you guys, I'm going to continue to bring this stuff up every single time. All right. Well, not every single time, because somebody's gonna be like, oh, you missed a couple of days. So I did miss a couple of days in there. But the reality is, you guys, I'm going to continue to talk about this, because my long-term goal with all of this is to fundamentally change this industry and not talk about change and not ever be, oh, I've been in this for 30 years and it's just been this way the whole time, because that's a problem. And that's kind of the mentality that I see out there, is this is the way that it's always been done. And that's just not going to fly anymore. We're going to make real change and meaningful change in this industry. And it's going to come from me and every single one of you guys who are jumping in and out of the show here, because yeah, we're all in this industry. Also, Fuel dropped again, which is always a welcome sight, $4.53 a gallon. It is still up 92 cents year over year. I'm sure someone's going to claim that they had everything to do with the dropping, but they have nothing to do with the rise. But that's irrelevant to the point right now. But again, you guys, it is a welcome sight to see that fuel is starting to drop, and hopefully it gets down to that well below $1 a gallon, less than what it was at this time last year, for example, and get back to where it should be. Especially because I did see something that they opened up some of those pipelines here in the U.S. So yeah, keep us drilling and keep all of our oil and everything here in America. Always a good start. Yes, let me see here. Renato de Luna. The opportunity to communicate in different fields. Okay. Thank you. Erica Hamilton, good morning to you. Lewis, what's up, my man? Let's fucking go. Zachary Serrano, he says, end of month, end of year, let's ride. Amen to that. Yeah, man, I appreciate that. And yeah, that's why I didn't get my post up there this morning, you guys. I do own real businesses. And, your boy had to win some freight this morning. So I had to get that done. I got a couple of last minute shipments in here. Again, Freight Coach Logistics is a real thing. We're making shit happen day in and day out. We are hiring as well. But yeah, I was on that this morning. I had to get a couple of last minute flatbed shipments locked in for a customer of mine. And yeah, we're going to end the year on a high note, and we're going to just come in fucking gangbuster into 2023. I do want to just do, again, as I do some of my solo shows, you guys, I do some market insight for everybody as well. And I'm just pulling a random lane from a random city to a random city. So we're going to go Minneapolis, Minnesota to Dallas, Texas reefer trailers. So if you are running this or you are bidding on any of this rate, pay attention, but be aware of the anomaly, which last week was, you guys all know what, Christmas. It's the one time of year that my last name, Jolly, seemingly gets brought up in every form of conversation. And everybody asks me if I'm a jolly old Saint Nick and all that shit. And I always sarcastically reply, this is the first time anybody's ever said that to me. And for some reason, they always believe me. They're like, really? So no, I've heard it all. All right. I've heard it all. But yeah, you guys, as you can see, if you go and you pull out a 30-day freight cycle on here, on this lane in particular, it was at $3.26 a gallon, or a mile, excuse me, not a gallon, on this lane. It did drop to 3.18, but over the last 3 days, it spiked up to 3.46. So obviously the holiday, and then this week as well. So it's like, if you're going into the new year and you're bidding on freight, you almost want to remove this last week from your bidding resources and like your strategy with that. Because again, you guys, it's up there. I'm seeing lanes out there that are fucking quadruple the price right now. And again, these carriers, rightfully so. If I was at home with my family and somebody called me to move a load for them, I would have my price that I would need. And if you were going to pay it, I'd work. If not, no hard feelings. So again, that's where you're going to see a lot of higher rates out there. So be prepared for that. And also, I did get sent from my friends over at DAT, did send me a market report on this. And my man, Dean Croak, is going to be on a little sneak peek for you listeners right now. His predictions and insight and strategy for 2023. His episode is going to be released on Friday on the podcast. But it did say that capacity tightened out there. Total number of loads posted on the DAT1 network fell by 1.5% to 1.75 million loads, a 20 to 30% week over week decline. It's very typical for a week that includes a Christmas holiday. The number of trucks fell by 24.6% out there. Obviously, holidays in particular, they all work their way home. And the number of refrigerated loads jumped 28% compared to the week over week. And reefer loads post increased between that for the first time between week 51 and week 52 since 2018. Again, I think a lot of that, generally speaking, my assumption is when I read that is that it has a lot to do with the polar vortex and just absolute shit weather that the northern hemisphere of the United States faced here this past week. So a lot of that is, as I'm sure some customers and very savvy brokers out there were recommending that we shipped it on reefers to do a freeze protect and temp control on it. So it didn't, have all those bottled water loads turn into bottles of ice out there. And again, it did say that it did talk about van loads decreased 7.2%, and then flatbed loads decreased 12.3% out there in that time frame. Loads to truck ratio that are out there as a national average, they increased for all equipment types, 3 to 7 for dry vans, 6 loads to 6 trucks for reefers, which was up from 3 to 9. And then flatbeds were 10 trucks to 9 loads that were out there, and that was up 9 to 5. And spot rates did firm up last week out there. So the national average vans as a whole was 248, reefers was 289, and flatbeds were 282. And if you did subtract out the amount equal to the national average of fuel surcharge as a whole, spot line haul rates averaged $1.89 per mile for vans, up 10 cents compared to the previous week. Reefers were at $2.25, up 18 cents, and then flatbed rates were at $2.12, up 9 cents. So that was just a quick little market insight provided over there for you guys today. And yeah, we are going to get into some articles here. We got a couple. And as always, you guys, I put out there in the post of this as well. If you guys have any sales related questions, all right, if you guys have any operational related questions, drop them in the chat, DM me, or if you're watching this on YouTube, drop it in the chat over there, and I will answer them live on the show today, or I will get them and I will answer it on tomorrow's show if it doesn't come through in time. Because again, you guys, this is just about a value exchange. Again, I view it as us elevating the industry and making the industry better as a whole. There's enough freight out there for us all to get nice and, well, I'm going to call it jacked and happy, not fat and happy. We don't want to be. I'm a former fat guy, so I'm looking to be jacked and happy now. All right, first article we're going to break down today. This was written by my man Eric Johnson. He was on the show last week. It's from the JOC, you guys, and it is Roadrunner launches new driver app as part of broader tech overhaul. US LTL carrier Roadrunner last week released an improved mobile application that allows owner-operators in its long-haul metro-to-metro network to assign themselves available loads, highlighting a larger ongoing technology transformation at the company. The Haul Now app is a carrier interface that touches new operational systems that they have in place to better reflect driver and shipper behavior and preferences. The app is not the big thing. Tomas, I'm going to butcher the last name, Jamrose, who's the Roadrunner's head of technology, had said it's integrated with all other operational systems that we have in place. The app is designed to help drivers streamline the process of finding and booking LTL loads, but it's meant to be more than just a transactional tool. Data from the app will be mingled with data Roadrunner collects out there, trailer tracking vendors, GPS locations, and visibilities from P44. The app allows drivers to choose loads, plan consecutive trips, update statuses, check settlements, review routes and loads, contact terminal dispatchers, receive important reminders in real time, and reach out for help if necessary, they said. And we can't have a driver assign himself a load, we can't have a driver assign himself to a load, but my dispatcher doesn't know that that's happened. That's a problem. This app is the tip of the iceberg that it sits on as the architecture that we've developed out there over the last couple of years. I think this is pretty sweet, especially I'm assuming at some point in time, this will be out there to the open market because obviously Roadrunner brokers as well. They're not just an LTL carrier. I would assume that would be there. I mean, that's what I would do if I had something like that, is I would want to get that out there to all my broker carriers to use. And again, like, have the capability to do that, but don't ever lose the human touch behind it. It says that they've been piloting the app out there for the last few months and had about 400 drivers doing it. And if you look at the market, there are a lot of 3PLs that try to do this, but they're more focused on being the link between the customer and the transportation company and making money in the middle, and very little focus on the driver. I can't say anywhere. I can't comment on that because I haven't used anybody else's app for it. Roadrunner believes that this app will offer a better experience to its owner operators and allowing them to find more available loads, and that this gives us a chance to assign drivers to loads that they're best placed for. That lets us to make sure that we're hitting on-time expectations. Again, I think it's a cool one as a whole. As JOC.com, Roadrunner launches new app as part of the broader tech overhaul. I like to see where a lot of this stuff is going. I like to see how a lot of the technology is transforming in this industry and how it is making people's lives easier. I don't subscribe to the fact that of the people who think that it's going to replace anybody, because again, if you're a badass, if you're a high performer, you're never going to be without a job. But again, I think as a broker, and then, especially inside of my own, I want to automate like 95% of my day. I only want to focus in on, I want to have 95% of my efforts going towards what matters most out there. Like, again, why I shouldn't be out there manually building and accepting loads. I shouldn't be setting appointments or anything like that. Like, I think that a lot of it should be automated, but that should free up all of my time for me and my team to focus on what matters. And that's solidifying partnerships with customers and carriers. Because again, you guys, it's 1A and 1B of importance out there. And I have yet to meet a freight brokerage that is fully operational without carriers hauling their freight. So again, I would focus in on that. I think that would be a solid goal for you for 2023, because you're going to need it. You're going to need those carrier partnerships. And I guarantee you guys, if you commit to the next 4 to 6 months of reusing in-network carriers to haul your freight, your business will grow. Your book of business will improve. Your stress levels will drop exponentially. You can also check out Broker Carrier to do all that stuff for you, so you don't have to send out 15 different emails and stuff like that. But again, you guys, I think that automation is here to improve our lives. It's not here to replace anybody. Unless you're shitty at your job, then it'll probably replace you. But I don't subscribe to that. I think that the majority of the technology that is available is out there to improve as a whole. Rob Cameron, good morning, sir. All righty. Next article. This one came from Insurance Journal, and it is Transportation Industry Outlook for 2023. Economic headwinds usher in challenging climates for fleets. Historically high inflation, a looming recession, and serious supply chain troubles continue to plague fleet owners and owner-operators, who are the backbone of our economy, moving 72% of nation's freight. Sorry, I don't know why I read it in that tone. Consumer spending is showing signs of slowing. While larger fleets with shipper contracts will typically weather the economic storm, some will be forced to park trucks and reduce staff with an estimate. Okay, there's not a driver shortage, so I'm not even going to bring that up. Let me see. While significant, these strong economic headwinds present only a few of the challenges out there. Denise, good morning. California Assembly Bill AB5. I won't go into that outside of it taking action like I had brought up the other day. It doesn't matter that I think it's communism, but reality is it's there and you have to deal with it. So I won't go too much further into it, but yes, take action is what they talk about this, and get in line with that right now, because it's seemingly here to stay. Continued rising cost of claims. This is another one too. And I actually talked about this on a past episode with James Lewis on my podcast. And we talked about nuclear verdicts. We talked about the responsibilities of what carriers can do to reduce their risk of cost in claims. And he has a lot of great information. Same with brokers too, you guys. Like C.H. Robinson just had their case declined from the Supreme Court here. So if you think little old you, if you're a 10-person operation or whatever that looks like, is immune from that, you got another thing coming, you guys. Again, it's never a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And you need to be on top of this stuff. You truly do. I don't want to see anybody lose their business and lose everything that they've worked their asses off for because they didn't take a couple of minutes to plan this out. Because that's really what it boils down to, you guys. You have to have plans in place for this stuff. Number 3, and yes, Nathan, reshoring has different plans for California. Number 3 is tight market for new and used equipment. We talked about this. How this is coming into play, about how used trucks are dropping in price and everything else. Obviously, there's a lot to do with the fact that OEMs have pumped out a lot of production of brand new trucks. And it does, California is just all over this article because their trucks emissions regulation will hit a portion of the industry again on January 1st of 2023. When any heavy equipment weighing 26,000 pounds or more with an engine model year of 2007 to 2009 will have to have their engines upgraded to a 2010 or newer model to remain in compliance. So again, I'm sure a lot of carriers in California are doing that. But if you're not, take note of that and get that taken care of. Meanwhile, the used vehicle market is still reeling. Okay, they clearly didn't get in on that. And then maintaining safety in a light of a financial belt tightening. Safety should always be a priority, regardless of the economic trends. However, when margins are compressed and cash flow is tight, fleets may be tempted to cut or reduce safety programs, training, and maintenance. Never skip out on maintenance. Never, like, maintenance is key. Just do not skip out on that. Do not skip out on safety either. Safety and maintenance is of the utmost of importance. There is some good tips in this article. I'm not going to sit here and shit on the article or anything like that. Some of their information does need to be updated in this, but I would definitely check this article out, you guys. InsuranceJournal.com, Transportation Industry Outlook for 2023. And as always, you guys, I put the links to all the articles that I break down on the YouTube replay, which is on the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay of the morning show, which will be available on iTunes and Spotify shortly after we finish up here. You guys, all the links are over there. And again, please read these articles and formulate your own opinions on that. Don't just read these catchy headlines that are just designed to essentially get you to click on them, which it gets me most of the time. But that's why I, for the most part, try and read a lot of these articles to make sure that there's some actual substance in there. And then sometimes I leave some in there that aren't, so you guys can see how much bullshit is peddled at times. All right, last article from CNBC.com. Most supply chain managers expect problems to continue through at least 2024. Interesting. More than half of logistics managers at major companies and trade groups say they do not expect a return to normal until 2024 or after. 61%, of respondents said that their current supply chain is not operating normally, compared to 32% that said it was functioning normally. When questioned when they will see a return to normalcy, 22% were unsure, 19% said 2023, and 30% said 2024. Another 29% said in or after 2025 or never. So based on my public school education here, 50% of the respondents said by 2024. All right, so half. Anyways, the outlook comes after almost 3 years of global supply chain shutdowns. We all know why and everything else. The survey questioned 341 logistics managers that were out there. Data sharing. When asked if they believe the Biden administration understood the challenges the supply chain was facing, 59% of respondents said it did not. I'm surprised it was that low. I would expect them to say a lot more, would say that the current administration doesn't understand what's going on. John Gold, a VP of supply chain, said the administration has taken steps to address the challenges, though. Earlier this year, the administration rolled out a pilot supply chain data sharing. The Department of Transportation told CNBC there are currently 46 participants in the program, and that they need to remain focused and continue to convene the right supply chain stakeholders to discuss ways to improve the operations. Eduardo Acosta, president of Pacific Coast Council, also weighed in. The carriers have arbitrarily imposed such changes on customs brokers, even though we may not have any role in booking or managing the transportation. The survey provides data supporting the imperative for the FMC, Federal Maritime Commission, to advance its proposed rule to end this unreasonable practice. 51% of logistics managers surveyed said they did not believe a national supply chain data would be created, while 22% said they did, and 27% said they were not sure. They think that data sharing would expedite the movement of freight and help reduce costs. Hard data is the backbone of effective supply chain management. Let me see here. Now it's time to double down and bring all the shareholders together. Clearing warehouses is another big challenge. And then inflationary labor pressures. Energy prices and labor are two inflationary pressures respondents said are still driving up logistics costs. The war, followed by tariffs imposed during the Trump administration, were the top geopolitical events impacting the supply chain. I would argue that some of the tariffs that he put in place benefited us here in the United States on that front. On the labor front, respondents said that they were worried about the mental health of their workforce, as well as the shortage of skilled, which is adding to the stress. I don't think that there's a shortage of skilled labor out there. All right. I truly don't. I think for the most part, what there is there's a shortage of people who are willing to put up with the amount of bullshit that historically some companies have wanted to impose upon them. I'm not saying this by everywhere, but again, if you're having a hard time attracting talent and retaining talent, it's not the talent at times. Why don't you internally look and say, what can I do differently? Because frankly, if you're having a hard time, like, I don't think that there's a, like, yes, there's technically out there, there's a shortage of quote unquote skilled laborers, but what can we do to get people excited about it? Like, again, this is my problem with a lot of these articles is it only talks about the problem, but it won't provide a solution. All right. It doesn't talk about a solution. Again, I don't think that there's a shortage of people who want to work. All right. I don't buy into that narrative at all. I think there are a lot of people out there who want to work. Yes, there are people who are going to be freeloaders and everything else, but that's not our concern. All right. There is not a shortage of people who want to work in this country. I don't buy into that narrative. I think that there is a shortage of people who are willing to put up with the historical bullshit that business has kind of technically been accustomed to over the years. I just think that there's a massive retention issues because of a failure to change out there. But again, look at it like this. There's a golden opportunity. If you're building a business right now, there is never going to be a greater opportunity if you are truly about your people, training them, developing them, career advancement, everything else, doing what you got to do to help them succeed and achieve their goals. You will fucking dominate people in these next couple of years if you commit to that. You know, I just think that, again, training is always going to be the greatest thing that you can do, is training your employees and your staff up the right way. I would rather train and develop somebody with no talent than try and fix and break old habits of others. That's just my personal opinion on that. And frankly, in my brokerage, I think we have the most comprehensive training platform that my team will be able to utilize. It is fucking very in depth, and it is very good. It is very, very good. And we are going to develop people and continually develop them. It's not a, hey, here's a week or 2 days in the classroom. Now go start making 150 calls a day. That shit won't exist in my company at all. We are going to develop people for long-term success, because that's what it's all about for me. That article, CNBC, most supply chain managers expect problems to continue through 2024. It will be interesting to see you guys at the end of the day. Raquel, thank you. I appreciate the support as always. Raquel's one of my favorite people. Connect with her, you guys. Follow her. She's got a book out as well. She's out there putting in the effort and trying to build up her dreams. So you guys show Raquel some support out there. But that's it for today, you guys. Freight Coach Morning Show. I'll have a guest tomorrow. And then Friday, I don't know how long we'll be live for. We'll probably just do like a little bit of a year-end recap and everything else, because I know a lot of people are, I don't even know who's going to be working or not, but we'll be live though tomorrow and Friday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. And as always, you guys, if you guys saw value in what I talked about here today, share the show, get it out there to your network, subscribe. If you go over to YouTube and iTunes and Spotify, rank the show. If you could, smash that 5 stars if you think I'm deserving of a 5-star rating, because that just helps expand the reach out there, you guys. I appreciate that. If you guys could do that very, very much, and just sharing the show, because at the end of the day, you guys, if you guys see value in this, chances are your network's going to see value in this as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.